Simplified Chaos, episode 164.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to help you lead a more intentional life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Welcome to Simplified Chaos. This is Jillian, and I'm with my co-host and husband, Nicholas.
What's going on, folks? Almost forgot what episode number we were on here. Sounds a little awkward at the beginning, but luckily we had all that nice music to drown out what I kind of messed up that number there. Craziness. We've got another great episode here for you today. We're going against the grain once again. Jilly, what are we graining against?
Travel.
Yeah. Traveling. Not vacations.
No.
That's a little hook, line, and sinker right there. But before we dive into that, as always, we love to show a little gratitude. So, Jilly, what are you grateful for this week?
I am grateful for beef tallow.
Yeah. Epic meal tonight.
Oh, so tonight we did sauteed shrimp, which he does so well every time, and just butter in a pan. And some salt and lemon.
6 minutes on medium-high heat.
It is quite fantastic. And usually when we have shrimp, I've been buying like either tater tots or French fries that are in like the freezer section in the grocery store. And for some reason, I really like dipping potatoes, specifically in like the butter juice from the shrimp. It just tastes really good. And today I was like, you know what? I think I want to make my own fries, because I always look at the bag and I'm always like really disappointed by the ingredients in them. You know, like it's usually some kind of really bad oil, and I'm just kind of like, oh, I shouldn't get these, but it's a once in a while thing. But today was kind of like, Lucille was with me at the grocery store. I was like, why don't we make our own French fries tonight? She's like, yeah. She got so excited. So I'm just like, yeah, this is going to be a fun journey of just like making fries together and trying something new. So I've never fried my French fries in beef tallow. And we have this amazing local butcher in Charlottesville, and we got this big old container of beef tallow, and I was like, I'm going to try this. And I had a little bit of bacon fat left, so I put that all in the skillet and let it heat. And then Lucille was so cool. I'm chopping up the potatoes, and she's playing with like the potato skin and like making designs and fun stuff with it. And she was helping me in the beginning until she got tired of putting the potatoes into the bowl. So I was frying them up, and it was like the taste test. Like I pulled them out of the beef tallow and I sprinkled some sea salt on them. And I was like, oh, these are good.
Game changer.
We're going to have to do this every time we went French fries. And sometimes I'll bake them, but it was just kind of nostalgic.
There's no going back to baking the fries anymore, Jilly. You set the bar very high.
Well, my grandparents always made homemade French fries for us, and it was always in Crisco. So I was like, it was kind of like this nostalgic childhood thing, being able to like make French fries with Lucille, and except using something very much healthier than Crisco.
That used to be used all the time.
Right? But yeah.
It's got a bad rap now.
I know.
It's making a comeback. I love it.
What, Crisco?
No, beef tallow.
Oh, beef tallow. I was like, wait a minute, I got confused.
No.
Yeah, so it was just really fun, and it didn't even require as much beef tallow as I thought. I was able to make the whole 2 potatoes with the amount of oil I started with, and I was like, and I still had some left over afterwards.
Yeah,
so
we still had some fries left over. That's because we had 2 pounds of shrimp.
Like I poured it out of the skillet. I'm like, I'm gonna save this for the other potato I have. Maybe make them a different way, but still frying them.
Potato pancake.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna cut them in circles and
that works
fry
for
them
me
that
too.
way, like potato chips.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, that shit was a game changer. It was delicious. Best fries I've ever had.
How do you feel?
I feel fantastic.
I meant to ask you, because I felt good too. So it's always nice to check in to be like, after we eat something we haven't had in a while, or it's like, no, I feel good too.
Feeling great. Yeah.
Sweet. Thanks, beef tallow.
That's right.
What about you?
So I am grateful for our access to mountain views. We had a wonderful, I guess, afternoon. I guess we can call it a Sunday fun day, you know?
Totally.
Yeah. So we have a distillery that's very close to us. It's about, well, I guess close wise, it's like 35 minutes, but like to me, that's close, around here.
Yeah.
And it just sits on the Ragged Mountains, which is like right at in the Blue Ridge Mountains, like right as you leave Charlottesville. But it's called Ragged Branch Distillery, and they just have some amazing bourbons and also some rye whiskeys as well. But their bourbon game is on point. And we met some friends there, and the view is just absolutely breathtaking. And it was a perfect day to be outside, a little on the hot side, but we sat under an umbrella. There was a nice little breeze going on, and just had some good times with some friends that we have down here, and just really enjoying the mountain view. So that's part of the reason we moved down here, was to have access to those mountains. And my goodness, yesterday they put on a show.
They did. It always surprise. It doesn't really surprise me. Like anytime I'm able to see like the mountains in clear view, I'm just kind of like, I feel like my nervous system is just like gravy, baby.
That's right.
So yeah, it's awesome to have access to that, and even see them when I go to Giant, the grocery store. I may not be drinking delicious bourbon, but still, like just seeing them, it's just like, this is just dynamite. Like, I'm glad we were able to create this life and
absolutely
choose this location, and it just came into our viewpoint. It's been great. Yeah. But it was definitely a Sunday fun day. We were there for like 3 hours.
Yeah, it didn't feel like that at all. And in Virginia, they have this ABC law where if you go to a distillery, you're only allowed 3 ounces of liquor. So basically 1 full cocktail, or maybe 2 full cocktails, just depending on what it is. So
I had 2.
Yeah, but I mean,
they're smaller.
They're smaller. They're not normal size. They're fantastic. I did the flights, and it's half-ounce pours, so you get to taste a little variety of it. And yeah, no, we took our time and had an amazing time with our friends.
We did.
Yeah. All right, so we're going against the grain again here, Jilly. And this time we're talking about travel, because we just got back from a little getaway. I'm not going to call it a vacation, and we'll explain why in just a few moments. But we went down to Emerald Isle, North Carolina, for some beach time and also some family time. And like most trips that we take, and anytime we do something fun, we always have takeaways. And what better to talk about how we do things and how we see things a little bit differently than in our Against the Grain series. So Jilly, kick it off here.
Yeah, so like many of our Against the Grain topics, the reason why we feel it's against the grain, because the norm of our childhood was not many short getaways. It was very much so one long, usually a summer beach vacation. So I'm really not used to kind of doing frequent getaways like we've been doing, because I was brought up where it was just like one long beach trip in Myrtle Beach, or one long beach trip in Outer Banks, or Ocean City, Maryland. So it's kind of cool to kind of like reinvent the way we want to live, and travel is definitely one of our values and new experiences. So why not do it as often as we can with the resources we have, like making sure like our budget's okay still, like we're not like going away and like not being able to enjoy ourselves fully, for sure.
Right.
But yeah, so I kind of had this epiphany when we went to Emerald Isle, North Carolina, and to kind of like paint a picture, my family booked this giant house on the beach, which was beautiful, and they wanted to stay for 7 days, and I said that's great, and they really wanted us to come. And in order to make it work, first off, we really didn't want to stay there a whole week. First off, we've never been to Emerald Isle. Secondly, we can't really stay I don't want to say can't, but we're not ones to want to stay at the beach a whole week, because we know like our skin can only tolerate the sun so much when you're out there. And we weren't really sure what else was around. It's not like when we go to Maui, we were there for 10 days. It's like, because you want to sightsee and see the volcanoes and hike. Like there wasn't that many excursions where we were going, or that we knew of. So I was like, let's go there why don't we still go?
Let's
But
dip our toe in the water.
kind of. So before we invested that much time and money and energy into doing it, I was like, well, first off, I know I'm going to be a better human being if I'm not staying in a giant house with all of my family, just because I like alone time. I really savor silence sometimes and just having our own space. So we booked our own Airbnb that was really close, and we stayed for 4 days and 3 nights. And it was great. Like, we got awesome beach time. We got lots of family time. We got to go on a date night. Like, everything I can think of when I think about a great getaway, we were able to enjoy that. And the weather was beautiful. And I kind of had this epiphany when I was talking to Nick about the experience. Like, is there anything that you took away, any reflections about our trip? And I don't remember what you said. But I know what I said was that I find that...
You don't listen to me.
What? Mom brain. It's a thing.
It's all good.
Well, now I'm trying to think of what you said.
No, what you said. Go ahead and go what you said. Mine was easy.
You're making me think.
Yeah.
I was just telling Nick, like, I don't like using the word vacation. I think of vacation when I was a kid, when it was just like this really long, once a year deal where we vacate from our lives and forget about everything, just relax and enjoy it. And I feel like I love that we call them getaways, because there's something about getaways that's like, we get away from the norm, but we still embrace a lot of how we live as we're away as well. Like, certain rhythms, routines are still embraced. Like, we still make time for like good coffee, good food, time together. Like, I feel like it's not very different from our normal life, where we're still incorporating all of our values into when we travel, but just that we do it so frequently. And it's not like I want to vacate my life in any sense. It's like I just want to get outside of the norm frequently, like we're doing once. I don't know if any of this is making sense. We like to just get away once a month, because I think travel, it's exciting. It's new experiences. And I think we learn so much from leaving the norm and come back like refreshed as well. So, yeah, again, I don't know if any of this is making sense, but in a nutshell, we don't like using the word vacations. At least I don't. I think
you feel like it's an escape from life, and what we've done is we brought life with us and our same routines and everything like that.
Yeah, like, I don't think we vacate from our lives. I think we just bring our lives in a different spot, and which is so cool to say.
I vacated work, and that was about it.
Yeah. Like, I don't think too much changes. Like, I still think we're all together. We all kind of have the same rhythm. And I'm repeating myself, but yeah, I feel like I was a lot more eloquent when I was talking to you about this in the car. But anyway, yeah, we just do shorter getaways. We're all about quality and not as quantity in days there, if that makes any sense. So, like, we have quality time in the various locations we pick, like in Emerald Isle, but we didn't have to stay there for a super long time.
Yeah, I think it's a lot about us knowing ourselves too, and there are folks who like to do the 7 to 10 day getaways, and that's very few and far between. I had very similar experiences growing up, where we would take a week vacation to Virginia Beach or Ocean City. We would maybe do a very long weekend up at my grandparents' house up in Pittsburgh. But, there's 3 boys in our family, and, we were all playing sports and stuff like that. So finding time to get away is why we had to kind of compact it into that, week vacation and maybe something here or there. But like, I think we just, and this is something since you and I have started dating, is like, we always go somewhere, and depending on where we go, like, we went to Maui for our honeymoon, and if we go out to the West Coast or Copenhagen, we're gonna spend a lot more time because it's further travel and whatnot. So that may be a vacation in a sense, when we go away for long periods of time. But like the way that we've been flowing and the way that we've been handling our relationship is like, we do like we put in our plan of like, we want to travel at least once a month, whether that's back to Maryland, whether it's a new spot or whatever. We're gonna stay for a few days and see how we like it. We like to dip our toe and see like, hey, this area seems cool, let's not spend an entire week there, but maybe let's go for a couple nights. And it gives us a lot more experiences when we're able to kind of shift that balance all over the place, rather than saying we're going here and this is our one thing for the entire year. It's like, hey, let's spread the wealth and let's get experiences everywhere. And I think that's what we were really able to do. And my take from the vacation is, 4 days is perfect amount of time at the beach for me. Like, that was just enough beach time, enough vitamin D, enough sun. I think if I would have stayed the rest of the week, I would have been under a tent or indoors, just because it's just like so much sun. Although, Lucille would have been outside every day. So that's probably what I really would have been doing, but, maybe not as having as great of a time, just because it would be doing something that I was just like not ready to do anymore. But yeah, for me, beach time is 4 days max. And we got lucky. We got 4 really awesome days. We got a date night and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, we really do like the micro vacations, travel.
Yeah.
I said vacations.
Micro trips. You can
Micro
call it that
trips.
too.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think as far as like money wise, we just can dip our toes in so much and more variety of places and experiences versus putting our money in one pot for like one place. And, if it's good, it's good. If not, like, well, that sucks because all our money went in that one trip. It's kind of nice, like having these diverse micro trips where we can spread our money in various places depending on the season too, because we travel so often. It's like, where do we feel like going in the spring? Where do we want to go in the summer? Like, where do we feel like going in the winter? So it's kind of cool to have a lot of choices because we're able to travel so often. We can have we can go to Colorado during warmer months if we don't feel like skiing, or, we have a lot of flexibility just because we are homeschooling Lucille, which is so great as well.
Well, and the vast majority of our travel is drivable. We're not on an airplane for every trip. So we save money there, even though the price of gas is astronomical still. The other hack that we've been doing is, asking friends to stay with them. We got 2 trips to North Carolina coming up. North Carolina seems to be a theme this summer because we're going to be making 3 trips total there.
Yeah.
So, we're going to be staying with some friends in Greensboro not too long from now, actually, I think in 2 weeks. And then around Labor Day, we're going to be down in Charlotte, staying with some friends. So these are awesome trips. They're not expensive trips, and we're just really excited that we're able to do this. And we've talked earlier in the year. We've done trips where I work and set up posts while you all are out exploring, but then I'm able to explore and have a good time in those areas too. So we've made travel our bitch this year.
Yeah, and I think you said something about I think having micro trips and shorter getaways is that it does give us more spontaneity and flexibility. So we just booked this North Carolina trip maybe a month or 2 ago, but because it's because it's on a weekend, we're making it a long weekend. It's totally doable, and that's really another cool thing is that we don't have to plan a whole year in advance to book a place somewhere, which I know that's what they did with that beach house. They had to plan a year in advance. So it's nice being able to make trips last minute, a friend's hey, we have to go to North Carolina. Are you guys going to be around? Yeah, is there a weekend we can come? Yeah. It's just cool that the chips kind of just fall in place when we're planning something. So the flexibility that these shorter getaways gives us is right on par with kind of our life, because sometimes we don't know how we're flowing in that season, or it could be a heavy season and maybe we don't want to go someplace, or maybe we're feeling let's travel 2 times this month, or it depending on our mood. So we never know the day to day, how we're going to feel. So it is cool being able to make a decision without all that time in advance too. But I was also going to mention, I think having these micro trips gives us flexibility in having trips to nourish all kinds of relationships. Yeah. So we are able to plan trips with just us. We're able to plan trips as a family. I'm able to plan trips with just my mom and my sister. Yeah. I'm able to plan trips with certain girlfriends, or maybe for a birthday party or a bachelorette party, which those are kind of fewer in between. But I think there's so much flexibility in the kind of relationships and how we can enjoy them and being away from home as well, which is really fun.
Yeah, and kind of like another, added benefit for like these micro trips is just like time away from work is great, and sometimes you need like a big reset, and you may need like that 5 days off, but like for me it's like I just need like 2 or 3 days here and there, like, and combine it with a weekend. So like, it is 5 straight days off, but like, I know for a lot of people out there, like going back to work is like a dreaded thing because you've missed 5 days and you're going back to email hell and, projects that are lining up. So like for me, like these micro trips really help like kind of alleviate that kind of stress and anxiety of like knowing to go back to work and like, oh my God, I'm going to be, going through my email for a full day and then I'm going to lose another day and then, going back into those kinds of things. So like that's the micro trips are actually very rejuvenating. It's like, taking a cold shower is like rejuvenating and it's quick and easy.
I like that.
Yeah.
I could go someplace else, but I'm not. Anyway, you said quick and easy.
No, not this guy.
But no, something else I wanted to touch on is that I think the more we travel, and because we have all these little micro trips, it's that we pack pretty lightly as it is. But I think the more you travel and the more you get away, the more you realize what are necessities and what are like we don't need anymore, or we don't. So I feel like each time we travel, we pack way more efficient, and it becomes easier to travel. Like, we don't have to have all of those things. I don't have to have 5 extra outfits. I don't have to bring that. So it's like every time we travel, I think it makes travel less stressful and overwhelming because we're doing it more frequently and learning more lessons. Even with Lucille, like Lucille can manage without all the things. She's actually really cool if we just bring a coloring book and maybe one small toy. So it is neat seeing how we evolve and even realizing what's important and meaningful and what's not. And I think it helps us kind of live simpler and minimaler in our home life as well. Every time we travel, it's like, if I don't have that, I'm going to be okay because I just have you guys. That's all I need. And clean underwear would be great. Yeah. So it's just kind of interesting just realizing that we're enough. And if we forget something, we're like, we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Like we flow better. We're more creative, I think, the more we travel, which is something that I didn't think would come out of it, but it truly has.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you run out of underwear, you just go commando. But yeah, I mean, the short trips are also great for Lucille because I think there's a certain threshold that, she can be away from home. Now, if she's with Gammy, like she can be with Gammy for 100 days and, not want to go home after that. But I think like on a lot of these trips, like, she misses her routine, she misses home. So like these short trips are good that she gets to experience a new place and different things and whatnot. But then, at the end of the day, like, okay, it's time for, for her to kind of get back into her routine. So like, that's just another beauty part about it. It's just like, we're able to do the things that we want to do and we're not inconveniencing, Lucille at the same time. And it's helping her grow and like I said, experience a lot of different things.
Yeah. She's definitely growing her open-mindedness muscle and flexibility muscles at a young age, which is great to start her young now, because I don't remember doing this much traveling when I was this small, and it's kind of cool to see like how Lucille evolves with all this and what she's going to be like when she's older when we're traveling. And it'll be cool to see her like pack her own suitcase by herself and like just get the rhythm of that and independence and the autonomy with that. So yeah, I think there's a lot of amazing teachable moments and skills that happen with traveling as well. I mean, being in an airport itself is like the best learning moments you can ever have, especially with a kid.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and I think one thing I just want to end on, I don't know if you have anything else, but I think the more I travel, the more I realize that the adventure begins the moment we get in the car. It's all the journey is like the meat of it. It's like, don't get me wrong, like when we get there at the destination, it's great, it's wonderful, it's a little less chaotic, but I'm learning more and more to just enjoy the process, enjoy the travel, enjoy all of the steps that lead up to getting to the destination, because that is also so beautifully messy and so meaningful just to experience all the roller coaster ride it is just to get from one place to another, and how to have fun
It's all about the
on
travel
the journey.
playlist.
And that too, but I think sometimes
That's what it's all about.
when
Just
I
get
was
some good music.
well, when I was a kid, it was very much like get in the car, you drive straight there. We try not to stop.
Right.
But with me, it's like, I like being able to like find a coffee shop along the way or find a park we can just enjoy and not always be so rigid on this, like, we got to get there at this time, we got to leave. It's nice that we can just kind of flow with how we're feeling and what we need and make that happen as we are going someplace. So
I will say that that's something that's changed in me over time. I used to be like that rigid, like we need to leave by X amount of time because we need to be there by X amount of time. And like, we're not stopping or whatever. But like, just with Lucille, being in the car and us having to, if we want to make it a pleasant trip, we may need to stop at a playground and have her just burst out some energy for a quick half an hour. Does that put us a half an hour behind? Sure, but behind what? Like, is it, do we have to be there at 2 p.m.? Like, can we be there at 4? Like, so like, I think we've definitely, or at least for me, I'm not as rigid about that anymore. And it is go with the flow and go with your flow, go with Lucille's flow. And if we have to make those stops, we do it.
And I'm realizing that I'm like a kid too, because I'm like, I really need a park right now. Like, I really just want to walk around and feel the sun on my skin and not through a car window. So, yeah. I think that's a good place to stop.
Well, you got some resources for everybody?
I do.
All right. What you got?
I found a blog post.
Check out her blog.
I found a blog post that was titled, "Here's Why Taking a Shorter Vacation is Actually Better for You." And it was like according to psychologists. And I'm just going to read a paragraph and let your mind wander. And if you want to dive into that, check it out in the show notes.
Yeah.
When we are learning new material, we are better off studying in short spurts rather than cramming in long hours, she says. The same holds true when clearing our minds and emotions. Thus, it is better to clear our mind with short, frequent vacations rather than long, extended ones. When we take many short vacation breaks, it gives us the opportunity to reboot our mental, physical, and emotional system and clear space for the next round of work. Shorter vacations usually means more vacations and less hassle to get away. Most people use quick getaway trips for short vacations, meaning less air travel, less packing, and more spontaneity. And I'm just going to stop there just because I found all of those benefits in traveling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and traveling more often and less amount of days. So, yeah, let's all like reboot our emotional system, man.
Good resource there, Jilly.
Thanks.
All right, how about that quote of the day?
Oh, I found one. I found a lot, and it's going to be really hard for me to choose one.
You just got to choose one quote of the day.
Oh, I like this. This is from
There we go.
Sandra Lake. With age comes wisdom. With travel comes understanding.
Yeah, we understand a lot about ourselves through travel.
100%.
Yeah.
A lot about ourselves.
Helps us deliver this content.
Yes, this coherent content about travel. Yeah.
Coherent
Coherent.
or incoherent?
Coherent.
Depends on what part of the podcast.
Oh, gosh.
All right, and the Take Action Challenge, Jilly, is?
Travel more. Travel frequently.
Micro travel.
Yes. Just do it. Experience it. And let us know what you guys think. What is your preferable way to travel? Do you find advantages in micro trips as well? Or are you all about the one-time vacation?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, connect with us on simplified.chaos on Instagram and let us know. And check out simplifiedchaos.com. We haven't really promoted our website all that much. We do have a website where we have show notes and some other recommendations. Actually, we probably need to update some of the resources on there now that I think about it. But yeah, check us out, connect with us, chat with us. We love chatting with you all, so hit us up. And that's going to do it for today's episode. If you like this episode, please do us a favor and help us spread the message. You can do this by writing a review or simply by sharing this episode with a friend. And remember, sharing sparks a conversation, conversation leads to action, and action is how we're able to live a happy and intentional as hell lifestyle. We want to thank you all for listening today, and we will see you again next week.
See y'all later.